Hey everyone, Tappers here, and welcome back to the Final Attack No Damage runs. Last we left off, we defeated Stage 1 of Wily's floating, but not really floating spaceship castle thing. Instead, it's actually a mountainside, but I already talked about that. So, Stage 2 is next, and after you saw how difficult Stage 1 is, well, you'll be happy to know that Stage 2 is equally as difficult, if not maybe harder, because the traps in this stage are just as annoying, and they're still littered with a bunch of enemies. And we still have pretty awesome music, this time with a remix of Wily's Fortress stage in Mega Man 5, which I think it is. Yeah. So first obstacle we have here is Sniper Joe right on that ledge, which you have to jump at the right time when you expect its shield to come down. Otherwise, well, you could always try to shoot through his shield, but that's not even reliable. Then you have that big eye that will pounce with a long jump when you are starting to climb that ladder. This room right here is probably the hardest in the entire stage, if not maybe the hardest in this game. You have two of those Indiana Jones dynamite fuzzy wielders, whatever you want to call them, and having to deal with one is bad enough, but having to deal with two is just insane, and it requires insane dodging and all that stuff. And hopefully it's one of those cases where I don't have to do it again, but this is the successful run, so that barely matters. The shield attacker here, you need to take out very quickly. If you don't, you're forced to take a hit because there is no way you can jump over it, because it takes a year just for those things to turn around, and they go all the way to the other side of the wall where you'd be landing. There's another spike shaft drop, and this one's kind of scary because it almost looks like I actually touched the corner of one of the spikes, if not maybe another one, and yeah, that is kind of scary. One thing I wish I could have shown off is, or kind of wish I'd see, is one of those big-eyed dragon wannabes bouncing on those springs, kind of like the totem poles in Copice Man stage. And anyway, as you can see, we have another mini-boss. We have the sword from Spearman stage. This one, you want to avoid being greedy, because these conveyor belts will kind of cause you to get greedy with shots. I tend to get like 3 or 4 on that sword when his hilt comes into play. Much like Yamato or Spearman stage, we've got the crusher sections and more of the exploding lanterns, but we also have those totem poles again. Now, here's another section that is pretty tricky to do. At the end of this area, you have a totem pole, which requires you to do kind of an epic dodge, but maybe it isn't, because you tend to get a little leeway with dodging the spears that it shoots out. So there's that. The other strategy I tried to do was shoot it from a distance and try to pull back, but the thing is, since you're jumping on those Cold Man disposable platforms, you can't really backtrack, because those ice platforms will not respawn. So you're pretty much on a one-way street there. Another section here, there's actually a trap, or I don't know if I want to call it a trap, but kind of a gotcha moment near the end of this area where, well, aside from these Barracuda bots that refuse to be hit, you also had a fridge that can kind of snipe you. But guess what? We also have these air floating enemies that decide to ram you, and it's one of those cases where you need to lead 3 shots. If you can do that, you can get past the trap safely. Otherwise, you're kind of in a world of hurt, because I don't think you can double back fast enough to dodge them. But with that, we're actually at the end of the stage already. And this is actually slightly shorter than Stage 1, although I lost like 20 seconds on that missed platform that I kind of missed. But at the end of the stage, we have the Wily slot machine. And it is exactly as you expect. It's a slot machine. Therefore, it's absolutely awesome. So in order to hit its weak point, you actually have to hit each of the levers. And when you hit them, they can show three different things. The attack you see here is kind of a spread attack, which goes from the outside until the inside. The circles are orbs that rain down in kind of a formation where you just weave vertically. And then the other one are these diamond things that go across the screen. Of the attacks, you want to see the diamond attack and the circle attack, because those are the easiest to dodge. The one that goes from outside to inside is really tough, so you just kind of have to be aware of that. Odd thing about this boss is that this boss the boss room is much different than before. Also, if you get 3 of a kind, nothing happens. So there's really no extras here. So next time will be stage 3, but until then, enjoy some outtakes, and I'll see you then.